Warning: some viewers may find the following content to be disturbing. Viewers' discretion is advised. In the late 1800s, Thomas Otto and his family moved into a mansion at the corner of Eaton and Simontown Streets in Key West, Florida, now known as the Artist House. The Ottos were known to be stern with their servants, sometimes even mistreating them. It was the treatment of one such hating servant that provides a twist in this story. This woman was hired to take care of their son, Robert. One day, Miss Otto supposedly witnessed her practicing black magic in their backyard and fired her. However, before she left, the woman gave Robert a lifelike doll which stood 3 feet tall, had buttons for eyes, human hair, believed to be Robert's, and was filled with straw. Dolls that resembled children were not unheard of during this time, but this one proved to be special. Robert named the doll after himself, and often dressed it in his clothing. Robert the doll then became his personal, trustworthy companion. He took it with him on shopping trips into the town. The doll had a seat at the dinner table, where Robert would sneak it food when his parents weren't looking. Robert would even tuck it into bed with the boy at night. Soon this innocent relationship took on a strange nature. Soon after, Robert chose to be referred to by his middle name, Jean, after being scolded by his mother. He told her that Robert was the doll's name, not his. Jean was often heard in his toy room, having conversations with Robert. Jean would say something in his childish manner, and the responses that could be heard was in a much lower voice. Sometimes, Jean would become very agitated, worrying the servants and his mother. She would, on occasion, burst in to find her son cowering in a corner, while Robert sat perched in a chair or on the bed, glaring at him. However, this was only the beginning. Household objects would be thrown across the room. Jean's toys turned up mutilated, and giggling could be heard. Whenever these unusual acts took place, Jean would always respond with, "Robert did it." The boy took the punishment, but always insisted that the blame was Robert's. As the mischief grew more and more, servants took their leave as new ones were rehired. The Otto's relatives felt it was time to do something. With the recommendation of a great aunt, Jean's parents removed Robert from his care and placed him within a box in the attic. This is where he resided for many years. After the death of his father, Jean was willed his boyhood home. He decided to live in the Victorian mansion with his new wife. Jean had become an artist and felt that the house was spacious and would provide a place for him to paint. He went into the attic and dusted off his own childhood toy. He became attached to the doll despite his wife's displeasure. Jean would take the doll along with them everywhere he went. He even sat in his favourite little chair while Jean and his wife slept nearby. The turret room became Robert's domain after Miss Otto moved him back to the attic. Their marriage slowly became sour, until Miss Otto supposedly went insane and died of unknown reasons. Jean followed soon behind. Robert supposedly would attack people, sometimes locking them in the attic. People who passed by claimed to hear evil laughter coming from the turret room. For some time, Robert remained in the empty house by himself until a new family purchased the mansion and restored it. The doll was once again moved into the attic. This pleased it as much as the last time. The doll was often found throughout the house. On one certain night, Robert was found at the foot of the owner's bed, giggling, with a kitchen knife in his hand. This was enough to send them fleeing from the home. Robert was later moved to East Martello Museum in Key West, where he sits perched in a glass box. Despite his new living quarters, the doll is believed to have not given up his menacing ways. Visitors and employees claim that they saw the doll move. His smile has been known to contort into a scowl. One employee cleaned Robert, turned off all the lights, and left for the night. The very next day, he returned to find that the lights were switched back on, and Robert was sitting in a different position than the night before, and a fresh layer of dust was on his shoes. Some say he'll even curse you. If you want to take a picture of him, you must ask his permission. He will tilt his head if he wants you to. However, if he does not grant you permission, and you take the photo anyways, a curse will befall upon you and anyone else who accompanied you to the museum. The same will happen if you make fun of him. To this day, Robert remains at the East Martello Museum in his sailor suit, clutching his stuffed lion, continuing his menacing ways. And that, my dorks, was Robert the Doll. I guess creepy or haunted doll creepypasta. My final thoughts on this story? I really like it. It's a classic, and this story has a tiny bit of a twist. The doll is real. Yeah, I'm not kidding, that is a real doll. And the exact place where it mentions in the story is exactly where the doll is today. Now, I don't think the curse is real, but by some slim chance it is, I'm not going to insult Robert. I mean, he is a really cool looking doll, not gonna lie. But yeah, the story's pretty interesting, even if it does sound a tiny bit cliche. But overall though, it's a classic. I can't hate it. It's like Chucky, but less ridiculous. So if I had to give this story a final rating, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I'm giving it a 7 simply because of the freakiness factor. Because this thing is actually real, it's a real doll. You don't see many of them often now, do you? Anyways, this has been the Dork Author. If you enjoyed this narration and opinion, whatever the hell, and you'd like to see some more, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, hit the bell so you can stay up to date with my latest videos, and comment down below, what do you think of this? Also, that doll, man, he's pretty scary. Anyways, I'll see you all later. Good night, everybody.